to the SIS Integration's Mission Possible session. My name is Oxana Jurosevic, and I'm an SIS Integration Product Manager at Instructure. So I'm responsible for integration with your SIS providers for all Instructure educational products. Before I kick off, I would like to learn a little bit more about the people that got together here today. And I'm going to ask a few questions, if you allow me. Folks, raise your hands if you are my K-12 customers. All right, quite a few of you guys. I'm assuming the rest are higher ed. What about admins or tech staff? Raise your hands. Oh, wow. All right, great. The rest are faculty, teachers. What about international customers? Perfect. Well, thank you very much. So let's start the presentation then. So it's not a secret. SIS integrations are complex and tedious projects. And when you add your closed proprietary interfaces of the educational applications you're dealing with on top of it, those projects will almost feel like a mission that is impossible. Well, good news, you have Canvas. Openness is one of our core values, and it manifests in every corner of our organization, in every product decision we make. So we don't really treat SIS integrations any differently. Open and standardized, they allow you to share your data across multiple applications just the way you like it. Members of the IMS global community and Access for Learning work hard and invest time and effort into standard-driven work. We help them to improve and innovate those standards to keep the integrations open. So my pleasure today to announce the compliance certifications we achieved the last year to keep Canvas open and standardized so we can openly integrate. LIS, it's the standard introduced by IMS Global quite a while ago. It enables your SIS provider to communicate with LMS via bulk and event-driven services using XML-based protocols. OneRoster, it's an emerging K-12 standard introduced by the same consortium, IMS Global. It uses RESTful APIs and CSV file exchanges to facilitate bidirectional integration between your SIS and LMS. And finally, the old-timer, SIF, Schools Interoperability Framework. It's been out there for a while. It's still trusted and reliable open source standard. Access for Learning introduced that standard, and we proudly announcing that now we support them for numerous SIS integrations. We also made some improvements to our own SIS imports. So we did a little bit of fine-tuning of the performance as well as functionalities. So for those of you administrators running your own scripts, we now allow you to actually see the full list of errors that happen during your SIS import. You can view them via API or download the CSV from UI. We also introduced a safety net for those of you using SIS uploads, a mechanism that allows you to detect unwanted changes and then abort the update if the change exceeds the threshold. Now you can set it via API while you're doing your SIS import. We also are introducing a new CSV file import that you can use to upload your account users in bulk. You can upload your admins, you can upload your custom-based roles, such as dean or principal, everything in bulk. And if you happen to change your SIS provider, and now you're facing a data cleanup dilemma, where you have to update literally every single SIS object in Canvas by swapping their IDs, now, fear no more. We have a new SIS import file that will allow you to swap those IDs in bulk via our SIS Import API. Now, we also worked on something really interesting this year. We worked on redefining SIS integration approach. With a high segmentation in SIS market, domestic and international, we're faced quite a few challenges. And some of them are numerous integrations, custom integrations that we would have to build with all of those SIS providers out there. And that will potentially lock you out of the opportunity to change the maps or configuration of your integration on ad hoc basis. Another problem we faced was rewriting those integrations constantly with every single SIS interface version update. Now, the good answer to this problem is an integration platform, robust enough, introduced by a trusted partner. Well, my pleasure to announce a new technology, the new Instructure SIS Integration Platform, powered by Kimono. Our integration platform offers you a robust ETL process. It serves as a one-stop shop for your Canvas and Gauge integration needs. It also offers an open standard-based integrations. It will allow you to do the assignment grade passback as well as the final grade passback later on. And it also enables you to exchange the data in bulk and via the event services, depending on the standard you use. Now, and the best thing about this platform is it comes free of charge for all of our Canvas customers as long as you use it for your SIS integrations. It is a powerful tool our consultants will use to accommodate your integration needs during all of the integration and implementation setup. The design is not about making beauty. Beauty emerges from selection, affinities, integration, and love. Louis Kahn. Our design allows us to offer you scalability and flexibility that you've never had before. It also gives you a loose infrastructure with the numerous number of connectors that can facilitate integration via open standards. This platform exists and operates independently of any of your educational application logic or rules. However, it follows their dependencies. And a good example is it will never send enrollments to Canvas unless terms, accounts, users, courses, and sections already exist. Now, I'm sure you're already loving our platform, but let's talk a little bit about security. All data stored in the platform are encrypted via advanced encryption standard, 256-bit data at rest. This standard was introduced by US government, and it's used currently to secure our classified information. So folks, it's pretty secured. All of the connections require SSL encryption. All of your integrations operate in the completely isolated network. Our platform and its applications go through the annual penetration testing to ensure proper platform hardening. And all of the code that platform uses goes through the rigid security vulnerability testing by third-party tools. Also, something really important, all of the data that this platform stores is your data. Customer owns the data and can remove it at will. Now, I'm sure you already know this, and it's not a news, but your SIS data schema will never perfectly align with the LMS data imports, no matter what you do. So at the end of the day, when you're crafting the integrations, you have to have that flexibility to transform SIS data into LMS data by either constructing a very simple query and very simple strings within the same object. And a good example is putting together a user login ID or a user email, or creating a really complex expressions across multiple objects using the joins. No matter what you do, this platform is flexible enough to allow us to use configuration over hard coding. And this configuration is something that's very powerful our consultants now use and have in their toolkit. Now, in order for us to actually facilitate the data exchange between multiple applications, we had to introduce a few LTI utilities in Canvas. And our latest project was a set of LTI tools that facilitate assignment grade passback. Those tools introduce a universal assignment grade passback experience. Those tools are connected with the platform, and if, for an example, one day you have to switch SIS provider, well, you won't have to retrain your teacher on how to pass the assignment grade back to your SIS gradebook. As long as that SIS provider is integrated with our platform, the experience will remain the same. So allow me to demonstrate it in my Canvas environment. So this is the assignment grade passback experience that we're rolling out to all of our customers that will be supported through the platform. There is a fundamental requirement that we have to meet before we start passing assignments and assignment grades to SIS. And the requirement is mimic SIS assignment creation and meet all of the validation rules the SIS imposes on us before we actually pass the data. So previously, your teachers will have to create assignments, grade assignments, and then invoke the LTI tool in our gradebook that will run through all of the assignment data, validates against the SIS-specific rules, and then presents the teacher with the error list. While it did the job, it frustrated our teachers. So this time, we rethought the whole process, and we introduced those validation rules as a part of the assignment creation process. So now, the teacher does not have to do it at the end. This whole validation will happen while they are creating an assignment. So you actually, as an administrator, will have to turn those settings on, and when they enabled, you will get a section in your admin settings in Canvas. And that section will hold all of your SIS integration settings together. So you can see that we have SIS imports there, and we also introduced the SIS syncing option. That SIS syncing option actually holds the key to the validation rules. Now, if I enable SIS sync for assignments, quizzes, and graded discussions, I will have a chance to require assignment due date, which is one of the requirements of the SIS providers. And in some cases, I will have to limit the assignment name to a specific character length. Now, we also thought about nomenclature. We actually overuse and abuse SIS word a lot. While you and I know what it means and what it stands for the teacher, it could be completely foreign. So you, as administrator, can override it within Canvas course with the SIS-friendly name. And everywhere where SIS abbreviation shows up in the course, it will be replaced with that friendly name. Now let's save the settings, and let's jump to the course. All right, so I have a blank course that was imported from PowerSchool. Now, one of the prerequisites for SIS to create an assignment in the gradebook is to provide an assignment with the grading category. Well, grading category is a foreign concept in Canvas. The closest object we can tie it to is the assignment group. And previously, we would ask our teachers to create assignment groups manually and then try to make sure it matches one-to-one with the SIS provider grading category. Nowadays, worry no more. We introduced a new process, and it's auto import for assignment groups. All it takes is to invoke the LTI tool and request those groups to get imported. Our platform gets the request from the course, goes out to the provider, collects it, and then transfers all of those grading categories as assignment groups into the Canvas course. Now, while it's working hard on this task, I will proceed with creating a brand new assignment. Let's give it a really long name. All right, let's make sure we have points. We have text entry. Now, you notice that PowerTeacher Pro shows up instead of SIS. And we purposely will miss the due date. Now, the warnings will indicate what needs to be updated. We'll shorten the name, and we'll give it a due date. Let's save it and publish, and jump back to our assignments. By now, all of the assignment groups got imported, and the indicator shows that it is actually auto-imported assignment group. It was not originated in Canvas. Now, the next step will be for me to actually place the assignment in the assignment group. And you notice that there is an indicator. This is the toggle. And there is also the indicator that it will go out to PowerTeacher Pro. That toggle could be turned on and off. There's another neat feature we introduced for those of you that have use cases where you have a course that spreads across multiple grading periods and have numerous assignments in grading period 1 that just ended, and you would like not to synchronize those assignments to gradebook any longer. The easiest way to do so would be to select the grading period in the drop-down and go to the Disable Sync to PowerTeacher Pro. It will disable it in bulk. We're not going to use it at this moment. We will just jump into the grades. Let's go ahead and grade the assignment. All right, they're all excellent students. So the next step is to actually request our platform to pick up the grades from Canvas and then send them to PowerTeacher Pro. In order for us to do so, we have to select Sync to PowerTeacher Pro, LTI, Launch. As soon as that's done, we confirm the synchronization request, and voila, it goes to the platform. Platform picks up the request, goes out to Canvas, uses Canvas APIs, and collects assignment and assignment scores data. Now, if I'm a teacher, I look at it and I say, perfect. Now, when would I see those grades in my gradebook? I don't have a visibility in the back-end systems. I don't know what's going on in your platform, but I really need to know what happened with my request. This is a quick sneak peek of the tool that we will be introducing and rolling out with this universal assignment grade passback experience. You can find it as a teacher, and that's highly configurable, by the way. Admins can turn it on or off. We call it monitoring and reporting. This is the tool that allows you teachers to monitor all of those requests and track the statuses throughout all of the history of that course. So now you can see that I have quite a few successes, and now the request is in queue. As soon as it moves from the queue in progress, it will land either in a success or a failed or maybe errors. If it's partial success, it will land in errors and will display every single error we get from your SIS provider. So that will allow you, administrator, and potentially your teacher to troubleshoot on the spot without involving help from either vendors. You as administrator have access to the same utility at the global level, where you can see every single course request on one screen. Now that said, Platform is a very powerful tool for our consultants to accommodate all of your integration needs. But for a full integration cycle, we have to introduce and implement connectors. Those are very thin layers that lay between your SIS application and our platform. So in the past year, we introduced quite a few of those connectors. All right, back to business. So now you can actually provision all of your data from PowerSchool via OpenSafe Standard. It allows you to do the events, which is a very, very useful feature. You can also do the assignment grade passback for PowerTeacher Pro via their RESTful APIs. For those of you using one roster compliant SIS, and we're aware of at least 3 of them out there, you can actually use our one roster connector in the nearest future that will facilitate your rostering needs and assignment grade passback. And by the way, the user experience of the assignment grade passback will no differ from what I just demoed. Now, for those of you using LIS compliant providers, and one of them is Oracle, the PeopleSoft solution with the SAIP platform configured, can now leverage the SIS standard to receive data in bulk and via events. We are beta testing it right now with one of our customers and planning on rolling it out this fall. We're also looking into allowing you to do the final grade passback this year. Another LIS compliant provider is Ellucian with the Colic and banner using ILP platform. Now, you will be able as well to do the bulk and event-based provisioning. We just completed testing with the ILP team a few hours ago. We have few things to touch up, but we strongly believe that we're going to have a product ready for you this August. Final grades will be coming at the same time as the SIIP. Now, let's talk about the SIS providers that are pretty close, but are capable of producing the basic flat CSV files. And those files could be any shape, color. They can have any fields. As long as they have the data you're looking for to import into Canvas, give those files to us. Place them on SFTP site, and we will deconstruct and transform those files into perfect SIS import files Canvas standard. Now, if your SIS provider happen to have a capability of accepting assignment grade passback CSV files, we can work with them as well. We can meet their requirements and produce those files, placing by the same method to the SFTP and allowing them to pick it up on scheduled basis. Well, there is no one-size-fits-all solution for all of our integration needs we're facing out there. But that didn't stop us from trying. And we strongly believe that our well-connected, open, standardized integration platform is a powerful paradigm and an engine for integration and inclusivity. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Earlier you had about checking for mass changes.
Yes.
And are there plans to do any other customizable sanity checks for data coming in with this new platform?
So we do have a few sanity checks, and we have a platform specialist here with us. So if you want to talk a little bit more about those features, we will give you a full rundown. Right now, platform does have a mass change detection feature enabled as well with a certain threshold. Right now, it's set at 5%, but we're planning on making it very flexible, so you can actually set it to the threshold you would like to have. The same feature right now is available in the SIS imports on the Canvas side. So if you use API to do the imports, you can tailor that threshold to your needs.
Are there any plans to expand the import report? Are there any plans to expand the import report from just the last import so that it shows other imports and possible errors that took place?
So are there any plans? There will be, if there is a need for it. So I would strongly encourage you guys to talk to me after the session, and I can actually collect those requirements. Yes. So right now, you do have a capability to pull it from API, but they're not displayed on the UI.
Well, I guess my biggest struggle is the SIS that we have, pulling the data that comes out and being able to utilize that. So and I love this, but my biggest concern is that they're dumping these data into these CSV files, and you might need 5 of them to get the content that is needed for Canvas. And so I know this is kind of global, but how would this work with SISs that don't have standardizations like that?
Yeah, so, and those SIS will have some kind of export capabilities. Right now, it's a CSV, and you're saying 5 files. That's all right. We can actually work with those 5 files. It's not a problem.
One of the problems we have is the limitations on the actual error messages that you receive. So downloading the error messages is helpful, but if the error message isn't telling you anything, then that's not helpful. So the error messages are just not very descriptive, and they don't give you enough, in many cases, don't give you enough information about what is happening or where in the file it's happening. Are there plans to increase the number of error messages that are available, and at least that are more descriptive than the ones that we have today?
Yeah, I would like to know about the error messages that don't give you enough information. What we've done so far, we actually expanded the list of all of those error messages, so it doesn't cut off at the 1,000 right now. And if you download the CSV file, it will tell you where the error happened.
The big ones that happen to us are things where somebody put an apostrophe or something that really should be there. It's supposed to be in that student's name, but it doesn't handle it properly when it comes over to Canvas. And it gives you a nasty error message, but gives you no information about where in the file it is.
Yeah, it's small formatted CSV probably issue, and I would like to look into it.
Just to clarify, on the passback to the SIS, does it also create the assignment, or does the assignment already have to be created, it just passes back the score itself?
No, it's actually fully recreating assignment.
Okay,
So
awesome.
you're going to have a blank SIS grade book and all of the Canvas assignments going in.
Hi, you were showing the things that kind of are coming in the future with, say, like Banner, and it had the final grade passback, and I noticed it said specifically final grade. Are there any plans to allow that to be more like ad hoc, where you could have maybe midterms, or they want to send it quarterly?
Yes.
So that way they could have some sort of early warning over on our SIS?
Yes, so right now ILP actually supports both final and midterm, and we're planning on supporting both. SAIP Oracle does not support midterm. We're not aware of that. So we will only be passing what the SIS provider supports. LIS standard itself accommodates for both.
And then kind of going on what they were saying about the error messages, it'd be nice to have almost like a mapping like you had for the fields. Maybe what's coming over from our SIS as far as the error message, because sometimes it might be a code, and then map that to something more friendly that the instructors might be able to do something with.
Yeah, can you please repeat your question? Sorry,
It was more of a suggestion that
Yes.
the area you showed that you could do the mapping of the
Yeah,
fields.
friendly name.
It was very, very friendly. It'd be nice to maybe incorporate that with the error handling so that you can map an error message that's coming over from the SIS
Oh, right.
and give a friendly error message to the instructor, tell them maybe more exactly what they need to do.
Perfect, yes. So, and honestly, a good point. That utility that I showed you, the monitoring, it will be available for both assignment grade passback and final and midterm. So it's not going to change much. So we will work on cleaning those messages and give you the human readable, of course, and more meaningful messages.
So also for final grade passback, is there going to be support for individual student grade modes? Like if I have a student who's taking the course pass-fail or auditing the course versus taking it for a letter grade, Banner tends to error if you send a letter grade for someone who's taking it pass-fail.
Yes, so Banner is a little bit different. They're not using actually LIS to communicate their grades. The ILP doesn't use the LIS. So they have RESTful APIs that we're using. And they do have options, and we can do at the student level. We will be able to do at the student level and at the course section level. And it will be ad hoc. So as long as your SIS provider has the grading window open and all of the conditions are met, the request will go through and the grades will be populated.
Are y'all working with a team working on mastery paths so that those could also be available for passback?
Yes, so the validations introduced for assignment grade passback will be applicable for mastery paths. There are some details about how the mastery paths works with assignment grade passback that you would need to know. I'll be happy to talk to you right after the session.
Hey, to follow up on the questions about the error logs not being very usable. For example, with our users file, if there's a student with a Spanish character in their name, even though it's UTF-8, It will error out, and all it says is, there's an error. We have 100,000 students. I don't know what character it is. It could be apostrophe, it could be a dash, it could be a tilde. We've had all kinds of crazy things in there. I have to go through and try to find out which character it could possibly be, and hope that I get lucky finding it. Usually takes about a day to figure out what it is. And there's actually, I know you said you wanted examples. There's a feature idea that's been out there for 2 years, and it's called Human Readable Errors for SIS Imports or something like that, that I put in there quite a long time ago. So it had a ton of activity on it with examples and use cases.
Great.
So that's there in case you want to look for it.
Great, and I promise you I will pull it up right after this presentation, and I'll take a look at it. We do have quite bright resources right now working on the SIS problem, so I strongly believe we can address the majority of your pain points in a fairly short time. If it's doable, we'll do it. All right, we have another question.
I don't have a question. I just want to tell you thank you for all the hard work that you've done. I know
Thank you.
we're infinite campus users for our SIS, and we have struggled with our Passback for the last 3 years, and seeing this today is just like, praise the Lord. So I just wanted to tell you thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, guys, for your patience and working with us. So we'll make it happen.
Did you say when this was going to be available and what we need to do to implement it?
What exactly? What feature?
All this good stuff.
Oh, actually, majority of it is already available. So all of the SIS import fine-tuning that we did, the only feature that is not currently available and will be rolled out to beta when the next release is the SIS import file for admin account users. Okay. The rest of them you can use. Platform is fully functioning. We have active customers. We have been enrolling all of our PowerSchool users in it, so we can give them PowerTeacher Pro, great Passback. One roster connector right now is in beta testing, so we have a couple beta customers for Aries and Infinite Campus. So those will be our early adopters and the ones that will show us the pitfalls. As soon as that's hard enough and secure enough, we will actually roll it out to the masses. What else? The SAIP and ILP coming this fall. Again, we're in a strong beta right now, and we'll open the lead as soon as it's done.
So we're a school that would need to use the flat file, the CSV flat file.
It's available, and we can work with you now. It's in production.
Thank you.
How do they go about their customer success manager?
Yes, good question. Thank you very much. You work for Instructure. I can see that. All right. So what do you have to do to use this technology? Well, only thing that you have to do is to contact your CSM, and the CSM will put a request or a ticket in our system, and we will have a consultant assigned to that request. Then we'll get you guys all together, talk about your integration needs, and make sure that you will have to be, well, you will move to the platform. In order for you to use the great Passback, you will have to be in the platform. So that's one of the prerequisites. In order for it to function seamlessly, we have to roster you and do the grades through the same exact technology.
Early on, you mentioned a CSV error log.
Yes.
That's now available through the GUI or through API.
Yes. It's
Where
available.
Exactly is that available? Where will we see? Is that like in the JSON payload after?
Yeah, so it should be in the JSON payload, but on the UI, it's in the SIS imports.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
If we're not seeing the ability to turn this on as admins, is that possibly because we are not on PowerTeacher Pro? Do we have to be on PowerTeacher Pro or just in order to use the
settings?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, settings actually work independently from all of the integrations, and you don't have to be integrated or use any of our integrations to enable those settings. all you have to do is to go to the options. It should be in production. All of the demo I did today is production. So it has to be an option in your account admin setting. It might be hidden right now. So you might have to ask your CSM. It might be an internal feature. But yeah, and if you would like to actually enable due dates, regardless whether you will be transferring data to SIS, but you just want to have the due dates for all of your assignments, the teachers, go ahead and do that.
Wonder if there's existing errors before we integrate this. How does that affect the Canvas courses and the messages that we'll receive for the Passback? Like say there's a file name that's too long that's already in the Canvas system.
Yeah.
And then we go to pass it back, but then we integrate this. How does that affect that?
Yeah, so what you're asking is, for example, if we have an existing data, assignment data, and the name of the assignment is too long, and it will go out and will error out potentially. So right now, when you enable that feature, it will disable the old assignment sync. And when the teacher attempts to enable that toggle on/off, it will actually run through the validation rules and will throw an error saying, hey, your assignment name is too long, so clean up, and then we will allow you to enable. And if we miss something like that, we're still going to communicate that data to PowerSchool or SIS, and it will error out. It's not a big deal. You actually will see that error showing up, and you can go ahead and update the assignment. All right. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, about 2 minutes. I think we're done now.
Seems like we're all done. Thank you very much.